Okay, today we are doing perfect square trinomials. So to begin, I'd like you to do a warm-up and find the area of this square. Pause the recording and find the area. All right, so I'd like to know the long way that you would do this. So first of all, what would I fill in here to the formula? Chris?
You would fill in 2x plus 3 instead of the s.
Good. Okay, so A equals 2x, the quantity of 2x plus 3 squared. And that really means, if I do this the long way, it really means area equals, let's go red, 2x plus 3 times what? Now, we've learned that we can always double distribute or FOIL this. So, I'm going to double distribute. That's the long way. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. And then 2x times 3 is plus 6x. And then, of course, we've got another 3 times 2x. We get another 6x. And then we get a plus 9. And if I put it all together, I end up with 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. Now, who remembers the fast way that I taught you how to do this? So if we have area equals 2x plus 3, the quantity of 2x plus 3 squared. So what do I do first? Since you're close, I'm going to call on you, Molly.
Well, first you square 2x.
Square 2x, and that's 4x squared. And then
you multiply.
We square.
Then you square 3.
We square the 3, which is 9. And then to get that middle term, and that's a positive 9. To get that middle term, what do I have to do?
You do 2 times 2x and 2 times 3.
Okay, so we're multiplying the two terms, 2x times 3, and that gives us a, right? That gives us a 6x. And then we have to multiply it by 2. And that gives us what?
12x.
Plus 12x. Now, why am I multiplying it plus 2? Why would I need to do that? Daniel?
Because you have the two binomial terms. So you have the 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. So if you were to multiply the outer terms, which would be 2x times 3, you'd also have to multiply the inner terms, which would give you 2 terms.
So really what we're getting is those 6x, one is the outer and the other is the inner. Here's the outer and here's the inner term. This is the outer and this is the inside term. And so we have to double those. So really quickly as we do it, I go square the first term, 4x squared, square the last term, 9, multiply them together, it's 6x, and double it, it's 12x, plus 12x. Okay, questions? Okay, so I'd like you to do a quick warm-up, and we call that, before when I called this a binomial square, that's supposed to be an A, not a D. Okay? This is called a perfect square trinomial. Okay? How do I recognize it? A perfect square? A perfect square. And inside, well, I'll show you later. Okay, we'll get back to that. Let's do our warm-up first. Okay? Okay, pause the recording, and I'd like you to... Just a reminder, these should be really quick. Square the first one, x squared. Square the last one, 25. If I multiply them together, it's 5x times 2 is plus 10x. Is everybody remembering that? All right, let's check our work. Number 2. Okay, Chris's row. What is number 2?
M squared minus 4m plus 4.
Perfect. Good. Notice that the last one, when I square negative 2, it has to be a positive with these perfect square trinomials. Okay, next one, Chris Feichens.
I got 4x squared plus 28x plus 49.
Perfect. Questions? Okay. What about number 4, Jordan?
4k squared minus 20k plus 25.
Perfect. Next one, Arabella.
I got 9t squared plus 24t plus 60.
Perfect. Okay, next one, let's go.
I got 121 minus 22y plus y squared.
Perfect. Okay, question? All right. Now, so we know that now we're starting with, yes.
Would you like us to leave that in the order that it was in, or should we put it
Yes, no, I want you to leave them in the order that they're in. For later, when we start, it's different when we're combining like terms. We like them in standard form, going descending. But now we're going to start using these and add them to fractions. And you're going to need to factor and simplify the fractions. And you might need them in that order. And I also want you to not be afraid of dealing with them in that order. Right? Okay, so we know that the pattern is square the first one, square the last one, and the middle term is multiply A and B together and then double it. That's what we call a square the first term, square the last term, and multiply them together and double it. Or you can say the middle term is this times 2. This times 2. So what would the next one be, Jordan? Jordan, this Jordan.
It's y squared plus 6, no, negative 6, minus 6y plus 9.
Perfect. Okay. Next one, Logan. Oh, sorry, we don't have any more. So remember the last term. If I double it, it's the middle term's coefficient, and if I square that last term, it is the last term in the perfect square trinomial.
But that wouldn't always work because it.
All right, so these are called perfect square trinomials. So now we're going to start with these, and we have to find the factors. I'm noticing, walking around, and I see this trinomial. And I see the first one has a perfect square, and I notice the last one has a perfect square. So I'm going to try and factor that. I'm going to make the root of m squared is m. The root of 36 is what? 6. It's a plus sign. And if I multiply those two together, I get 6m. Times 2, I get 12m. That is correct. I factored it correctly. Now, you can write that m plus 6 times m plus 6. The quantity of m plus 6 times the quantity of m plus 6. But it's easier to do that. Now, why don't you guys try the next one? Pause the recording. Chris, question.
Do you want us to leave it as the binomials, or do you want us to
I don't care. They're equivalent.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go with I left off Logan.
So like you said, I'm walking down and I see like the y squared plus 49. It would be y plus 7 and y minus 7.
No. Okay. So, hold on. You're doing your work and you notice a perfect square and a perfect square. I noticed a perfect square and a perfect square. I put them here. I didn't do a plus and a minus. Okay? The plus and minus is when you have no middle term. Do you remember that? So he factored it as a difference of squares. But, Logan, what is the root of y squared?
Y.
Y. What is the root of 49?
7.
7. Now, to get negative 14 added to negative 14 and multiplied to positive 49, what sign has to be in the middle? Minus, and we're going to square it. So really, Logan, what that means is y minus 7 times y minus 7. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That gives me my minus 7y minus 7y. That gives me my 14y. Minus 14y. Yes?
Isn't it also technically possible that y could be negative?
I mean, 7 minus y squared? Yeah, I mean, you could do it that way, but that's not how it was given to us.
No, but couldn't it be like negative y plus 7?
Or we would turn it around 7 minus y, right? Yeah, you could do that. Okay, but we factor it as it comes to us. Okay, so now we are given our perfect square trinomials, and it's your turn to come up with the factors. Okay, let's start with the first one together. Jordan Evans.
This one would be
What's the root of that?
x
What's the root of that?
2
2. What sign goes in the middle?
minus.
And it's squared. Okay? You guys do, pause the recording, do 2 through 8. Okay, so let's go. Number 2. Oscar.
Y plus 5 squared.
Y plus 5 squared. Good. Who's next to you? Hike. Stop. Number 3. Hike.
T minus 9 squared.
T minus 9 squared. I'm sorry, Hike. Okay, at number 4, let's go with Spencer. Spencer? Okay, what's the root of the first term? Y. What's the root of the second term? Of the last term? What's the root of the last term? What times itself equals 100? 10. 10. 10. Put it in. It's a plus sign, and we square it. Does 10y times 10y times 2 equal that middle term? Yes. If you're struggling, we need to hear it. Don't just sit there and wait. Okay, number 5. Anybody else in the back there? And I didn't get the front row, did I? Christina.
2x minus 3.
2x. The quantity of 2x. I want to hear everybody say, the quantity of 2x minus 3 squared. Square that. You can check it. Square that. Does it equal this? Square that. Spencer, does it equal this? Spencer, multiply those two terms together. 2x times negative 3. What is that? 2x times negative 3. Negative 6. Double that. Negative 6 times 2. Negative 12x. It meets the middle term, so that's correct. Next one. Okay, Cubby. That's correct. 28 is not a perfect square. Okay. Number 7. Number 7. Let's go with Adam.
I had t minus 4 squared.
Perfect. And then number 8. Let's go with Matthew.
3k plus 2 squared.
Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Okay, here's where we're going to get you. Here's where we're going to get you, Matthew. The root of that is 3k. The root of that is 4. We know it has to be a plus sign. 2. We know it has to be a plus sign. Shh. But when I do the middle term, 3k times negative 2, what does that make, Matthew? Times 2. And the middle term is not 12k. It's not factorable. That's correct. Okay, questions? All right, try 6 more. Go. Pause the recording. Okay, number 1, what is it? Where did I leave off? Let's go, Matthew. I know, it's okay. We'll give you another turn. X minus 6 squared. Number 2, let's go.
Y minus 7 squared.
Good. Let's go.
T minus 1 squared.
Good. Next.
2x plus 7 squared.
2. Where are you?
Oh wait, k minus 11 squared.
Okay. Next.
2x plus 7 squared.
And then last. Let's go. Not factorable. Because 3x minus 4, if I double it, it wouldn't be the middle term. All right, so what would be the last term here? How do I figure out what the last term is? Let's start with, how about Chris? Do you know what would go in there? 9. How did you get that?
Because 6 divided by 2 is 3.
6 divided by 2 is 3, and then I square it, I get. And also, that would be my binomial here. Right? We could take the middle term, and it should be this. Divided by 2. Okay, what would the next one be? Let's keep going. Jan. 36. Okay, what would the next one be? Let's go, Charlie.
81.
Good. What would the next one be? Matsumoto.
49.
Yep. Okay, now this one gets tricky. Okay, Malcolm?
100.
Nope. Okay, stop. Let's first try and figure this out together. Shh. Let's try and figure this out together. What's the root of this? 2t. Now, whatever goes here, we know it's going to have to be a minus. Whatever goes there has to be, remember, 2 times something equals 20. 2 times something equals 20. What must go in there? 2 times what equals 20? 10. So what must go here? To get this to be a 10, 5. Okay, so anyways, when I square the 5, it's a 25. Okay, let's look at some problems with exceptions. We said that we've done greatest monomial factoring. Now we're going to put it all together. Step 1, what do? I suggest you write fast. Step 1, what do, Chris? Which is 5. I factor out a 5, and then I'm left with a trinomial square, a perfect square trinomial. So that breaks down to
5 times x plus 3 squared.
perfect. 5 times x plus 3 squared. Okay. Number 2, what do I need to do? You want to pause the recording, you can do that, or you can go right into the explanation. So what would I do here, Daniel?
You have to wait for the numbers from the variables.
Right. So first, no, not yet. What's the root? It's a perfect square trinomial.
So we have x squared plus 4.
Close. I have a minus sign in here. X squared minus 4. Now, what's interesting about this, Molly? What's so interesting about this?
It's a difference of squares.
Difference of squares inside. So really, if I expand this out, what does it mean? X squared minus 4 times x squared minus 4. So how do I break that down further, Molly?
You would do x plus 4, x minus 4.
Times, x, not plus 4, x plus 2, x minus 2,
Oh, yeah, x
times.
times x plus 2, x minus 2.
Are you writing that down? Okay, now, notice I can put the 2 pluses together and write it just a little bit more. But these two are equivalent. Both are correct, the bottom 2 lines. Questions? You guys good? Okay, wait, one more. Next one, what do I do? Ben, go. Good, factor out the 3. I'm left with x squared minus 8x plus 16. Now what? Who has this? Go, Cubby.
Then you do
3 times.
x minus 4 squared.
Perfect. Okay, next one. How do I break it down? Daniel, go.
It would be x squared minus 1. squared.
Perfect. X squared minus 1 squared. Now, what does that really mean? X squared minus 1 times x squared minus 1. But inside there, what's left? Everybody.
Different squares.
So what would it be? Keep going, Daniel.
So it would be x plus 1 times x minus 1 times x plus 1 times x minus 1.
Perfect. Got it? That's it.